well, there we are. We've got the combination lamps turned to the inside, and we've got new LED lighting. All right. Ooh, they're bright. So there you can see I can pivot them. I could even turn it reverse if I wanted to. So that's going to work out really good. All right, here's our comparison. This is absolutely no lights. And there we go. That's one facing to the rear and one facing to the front. There's another angle. You can see how well it lights up the back. That is just one light. And you can see how well it lights up the front. Now, full disclosure, the camera makes it look brighter than it really is. I mean, the sky looks a lot brighter than it really is. But man, what a difference. So now let's turn on the headlights, see what that does. There we go. That's a decent comparison. This is just the headlights. And just like the LEDs, they look a lot brighter on camera than they are here in real time. Hey, that was awesome, right? Totally meets my needs. In this video, we're going to talk about why I did what I did, and then I'm going to show you what I did. Just like all my other recent videos, this one's going to be indexed, so just jump ahead to the chapter you want if you don't want to listen to me ramble on. So let's talk about why I did what I did, and that starts with, like every good project, with this list of requirements. So I did not want to drill the ROPS. I did not want to tap into cut existing wiring. And I also wanted to make sure that my LEDs were operated independently of the light switch / hazards. And then the last thing is I wanted adjustability. If you notice on the 1723, the non-backhoe version, the ROPS is pretty short. It's a non-folding ROPS. So a light bar under that ROPS would be shining right into the back of my head, right? So a long light bar, you know, the middle part would just be lighting up my bald spot. A light bar on top of the ROPS would mostly clear my head, but depending on, you know, situation, it may not be shining in the right direction. So I wanted lights that were adjustable, lights that not only would go up, down fairly easy, but kind of more importantly, left, right. And that's where this magnetic mount comes into play. This magnetic mount, you can see actually see the magnets underneath, but it's coated. It's all rubber, so it's not going to scratch the ROPS. This is what gives me the ability to put the LED on, and then if I want to turn it around to face rear, side, front, you know, I can change any angle just by pulling the magnet up and repositioning it. So that to me was key, versus just using a regular bracket mount to you know, to mount the LEDs. So that was kind of my thinking going into this. I've seen bigger light bars. Steve, he's got a bigger light bar. I've seen lights on the loader. I've seen all kinds of combinations. But here's the thing. I'm not doing a whole lot of work at night. I'm not trying to turn my tractor into some, you know, showcase for, you know, how bright LEDs can be. I just want to have a little bit extra lighting at times, primarily when I'm pushing snow. Sometimes I might be doing some projects later in the evening and I've run out of light and I want to flip them on. So that was my thought process going into this. And as you'll see in this video, the project started with flipping the turn signals. I had to get some hardware from Home Depot, and then it proceeded with you know, the LED wiring. So let me talk about the wiring a little bit. I never like tapping into existing circuits if you can avoid it. You just don't know what a particular switch is rated for. There might be some component of that circuit then that's carrying more current than you think it is. And yeah, these LEDs are very low draw, but even so, it's better to be cautious about it. So my approach was to just run wires straight to the battery, positive and negative, and obviously there's an inline fuse. So I'll show you that. And that's how the LEDs are getting their power. The on-off switch, totally independent of the headlight and or hazard and or turn signal switch. So that's just the way I want to do it. Everyone does things differently, but that was my requirement. I always like running it independently, if you were able to, for the simple reason of you just never know what you're gonna tap into and make a mistake. Something might work today, and then down the road get some water in it, and then you got a problem. You have a bad ground. I mean, the list of problems could get pretty long, and troubleshooting electrical is not fun when you've got those tight wire bundles. So let's get to it. First thing we're going to jump into is the turn signal swap. First things first, I took this new bolt that's a little bit longer and this washer that's got the rubber seal under it, and I've got that through the hole, and you can see that is a little bit longer than the original bolt that's shown up top here. That'll give me enough space to have the spacer in there and route the wire. All right, so we're all done. Project complete. Not so fast. The blacked out part's supposed to be on the other side. So you can see that's how it, well, there you can see the other side, right? So you got to swap them. You got to take the left and put on the right and vice versa, since we've taken the light and we've done this to it. So that's what we'll do. And in order to do that, it's pretty simple. Just got to take this connector here, pull it off, fish the wire up through, and swap them. So we're going to do that right now. Real quick, here I am on the right side, and before I swap it, you'll see how much slack is in this line. I mean, it comes down pretty far. So when we turn it around to the other side, and you can see it on the left, it'll take up a lot of this slack and pull this wire up out of the way. So it's actually, I think, a good thing to kind of get that slack out of the way. And guys, no need to make it any harder than that. That is it. So there you can see we've got the spacer. Little slack on the cord. I'll talk about this hole in a minute. And everything's connected down here, and you can see there's no, well, not as much slack in the line. So mounting those, I guess, on the inside is going to keep me from knocking them off. And as I understand it, they're I don't know. They're not cheap. So yeah, there's that project. Okay, so that was pretty easy. Now we're going to show you how I did the LED wiring. And that's kind of going to start with the run from the battery. Routing the wire up to the battery. You really just need to take this cover off. So there's a screw holding it, and then you can't just slide it out. You got to sort of pry it out from under this lip here. Do some on this side and then the other side, and then it'll pry out. So that's how I ran it, and then I ran the wire up here. I used, let's see, an existing cable tie there, and then here it is right here. That's the wire, and then I'll split it off and run it to each battery terminal. And the wire is run. So here's our plus, here's our minus, goes down through there, and then I'm going to show you from underneath how it looks. Here I am directly underneath on essentially the driver's side. And the wire just comes down through here, and it follows this wiring harness all the way back. All right, we'll pick back up here. Hopefully Mr. hot shit with his loud car is far enough up the road you don't hear him. So here the wire comes. I did use 1 or 2 new zip ties, but I tried to just use existing. And then it routes around the back with this same wiring harness because you don't want it to interfere with these gear shifters. And then the final run comes up here and ties into the new wiring harness. So then we have a 10 amp fuse in there, and I've put the relay and the excess wire in this void under the seat. And then I'll show you, well, you can see here I ran the switch wire this way and the ROPS wire that way. Then the ROPS wire comes up through here. It was a little hard fishing it up through there, but I got it. It goes in that hole, up the ROPS, out this hole, and then you can see I have the lights sitting up there, and I'll zip tie that up, try to dress it up pretty good. This is a little detail on the switch step. So here's the insert that was in the hole. So I pried it out mostly from underneath. I just grabbed it. It was, here, let me show you, like this. And I just kind of pinched it with pliers and pushed it up through the hole. Then I wore a glove, of course, and used this razor blade knife to cut this edge, this hump off. Now the switch just fits right down through. It's pretty snug. Yeah, very snug. And now it's down in the hole. Then I'll just reinsert this into where the cigarette or accessory adapter hole was. And then for the switch, here we are. There it is. On, off. So that is just, you know, snug fit in that insert that I cut out. And here I'll actually show you the lights close up. Very bright, obviously. And yeah, so that's the lighting setup. And then up top here, these are the LEDs. I don't have any of this, you know, fully tightened down yet. You know, I have an adjustment process I'll go through. But you can see, you know, the magnets hold pretty good, and I should be able to move them around front or back. And yeah, that should work out pretty good.